Hi guys, I'm Bri.
And I'm Alli. This is Offscript.
If you think about it, books are potential scripts for movies.
When this adaptation happens, typically it's disappointing because they went off script.
In this series, we will be talking about how off script they went.
Alrighty.
Hello.
Hello and welcome.
To off script.
You know what I realized? We always say a podcast, but we're supposed to say...
We really need to say, yeah.
I'm Alli.
And I'm Bri. I was actually just going to stop you and be like, don't say what we normally say.
And this is a podcast. That's what we got to do.
Yeah,
we got to add that little chunk in there.
I know.
Y'all are so confused by season 4. You have no idea who we are.
We're great.
No, it's for our new listeners. And
hopefully our old ones already know who we are.
yeah. But anyway, so today we're comparing Mockingjay.
Part 1. Mm-hmm. We're at the end of the Hunger Games, guys.
Sort of. I mean, we're literally in the middle.
I forget about the ballad. I'm in the middle of reading it right now, too. God damn.
We literally are in the middle because we did 2. We got 3 more left, not including this one. Yep.
Okay. We're halfway there, guys.
Oh, man. I don't really have a picture. You got a picture? It's like 5 days till Christmas. 6 days. Yeah.
6.
I mean, I know it's a month later for you guys, but got any Christmas plans?
My grandpa's coming to town.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. He comes in on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's here until I leave because I leave to go to Knees.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to house sit for her. She's flying me to California so I can hang out with a husky.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And a Frenchie. But I'm really excited to hang out with Blue. I feel so bad. Burger. Me and Burger have a long relationship too, but man, introducing me to Blue, things changed.
That'll be fun though.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Because are you celebrating New Year down there too?
Yeah, I am.
That'll be nice.
And they just got a new house and they, on Instagram, she put on her story, they were out in their backyard because her in-laws got them an outdoor fire pit. Uh-huh. And so they had that going, and they also have a projector to project whatever they want to watch on the side of their house.
Nice.
And they were watching football while they had a fire going.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, that's the setup. And she was like, don't worry, I'm going to show you how to use this so that you and John can use it when you're here.
Nice.
I'll watch scary movies out there with him.
How cool. That would be fun. That's like my dream. I just want a projector, but I have no spot on my house. So,
well, you know, you can get a sheet.
I know, but I don't know how to, like, I'd have to get all the poles and everything to set it up. Oh, there you go. That's our picture.
Yep.
Enjoy.
Wait, what are you doing for Christmas?
Oh, we're just having a chill Christmas or nothing really. We're just hanging out at home and
Nice.
Yeah. I do this thing for the New Year's. I started last year and it was really fun where I fill balloons with like a rolled piece of paper that has an activity on it. And every hour the kids get to pop one. And so they get to do something every hour till midnight. And so that was a lot of fun. So I'm trying to come up with things to do. So if you have any ideas, I need 10 of them.
Dance party.
Yep. That's going to be one. We did that last year. It was fun. We also did karaoke. The kids loved it. I'm going to do like a punch wall thing like, with this tissue paper and they just punch through it and they get like a candy or something behind all the cups. Yeah, I don't know. I'm coming up with it. By the time this comes out, hopefully it will
already have happened.
Been a success. Yeah.
Or Allie will be crying on New Year's Eve. Like, I don't know what to do with these kids.
They're driving me crazy. It's at midnight. Yeah. Watch the ball drop in New York. It's midnight. Go to bed.
That's exactly. You guys are yelling about and sharing.
Oh, gosh.
You should make them do an activity about sharing.
I should. Mm-hmm. You know what? Today they actually did. Oh my gosh! Except I ruined Tyler. Tyler ruined it. So he got. Okay, first off, he goes to school at a church, and the church bought every family a rotisserie chicken, mashed potatoes, and gravy. Whoa. Just because today was his last day before break, and they're like, "This is from the church."
Wow!
I know. I was like, "What the?" Well, thank you.
Yeah.
But they also last day before Christmas, gave him a little Christmas present, right? And all day he's like, can I open it? Can I open it? I said, if you're really good today, you can open it. Right before bed, this kid, like he was great today. Like I was like, oh my gosh, like
you can open 2 gifts.
It was like that good. You know, Furbert.
Oh, yes.
He popped it.
You know what's funny? When I was playing with it, I was going to say, I was like, I feel like this is something that could be popped. This is kind of scary.
Oh, it definitely could. Like we've had one before that was smaller. So what it is, guys, for those that are like, what the heck is a Furbert? Tyler got Riley this for her birthday. It's like one of those like squishy, it's full of air and it has like the little like rubber little hairs things. It's like a ball.
A stress ball.
Yeah.
It was a nice
giant stress ball. And I go in there and it's popped. And I'm like, oh, Tyler. He's like, I didn't do it. That did it. And it's like this present that my mom got that's like a little gnome yard decoration stick thing. I'm like, well, and how did the gnome stick do it? And he's like, me. I'm like,
well, no, duh.
So I was like, you were so close, Tyler. But luckily, Riley didn't care really, and I'm making Tyler buy her a new one. So
yeah, that's good.
Yeah. He did this before. Oh my gosh. Let me just share. It's like, what, 20 minutes into the movie. The podcast. Let me share how horrible my child is.
No, it's only 8 minutes.
Okay. Riley has like detangler spray. I mean, it's not cheap. It's like $15 a bottle, right?
Yeah.
I go upstairs one day and the whole TV is white.
No.
Yes. And I'm like, what? And the bottle is empty. He just sat there and sprayed the TV. The TV was fine.
Wow, he got lucky.
Yes, the TV was totally fine. He wasted the bottle. I made him pay for that bottle because they get like an allowance. I don't really know if it's an allowance really. I have like a behavior chart and like if they
definitely an allowance.
Okay, if they do good, then by the end of the week, depending how many stars they earned, they get a certain amount of money. So it's not like they always get $5 every week type of thing. And I just went in there and I took $15 of his and now I'm about to take 5 more for this stinking ball. This kid isn't learning. He was up there too. He had like $30-$40 saved up. Yeah. No, he's wasted it all on bad choices.
Dumb. Don't do that, kid.
Anyways, our we have nothing to paint a picture about turned into a whole lot, didn't it? Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody.
Turned into a picture of Tyler.
Yes. This is my child I have to live with, my ferocious 4-year-old.
Who she's planning on doing how many activities with on New Year's Eve?
I know. Should I? Activity number 1, take a nap for the next 10 hours.
That's exactly. Power nap. Oh, I should find watch like Rudolph Shiny New Year.
That's a good one. Or last year we did like fondue and they wanted to do that one again. It's going to be like all the same as last year. Because they're like, can we do this one again and again and again? I'm like, do you want a surprise or do you want to do
Or do you want to know what you're getting already?
Oh gosh. Anyways, you guys. All right, here we are. Let's do it. We are doing, as we said, Mockingjay Part 1. Let's do it. Here's your synopsis. Katniss Everdeen reluctantly becomes the Mockingjay, a symbol of rebellion against the Capitol. As she navigates the complexities of war, propaganda, internal conflicts intensified by the capture of Peeta Mellark by the Capitol. Why would they say intensified? Internal conflicts intensified. Is that just odd?
It is.
I feel like this was ChatGPT. I don't remember.
I see why they said it because it is intensified by the capture of Peeta Mellark, but there's a different word they could have used probably.
Our listeners are like, why don't you just read what you write before you say it? That would be too easy.
Copy paste, man.
I skim it. I don't just. All right. Our author is Suzanne Collins, director Francis Lawrence, screenplay writer Peter Craig, and Danny Strong, which
I'm confused why Suzanne wrote for the first one and then just stopped.
I know. I feel like this one, she
had her hand in it a little bit more.
It had her labeled as something else on IMDb.
Probably producer or whatever.
No, it was like It says adaptation by.
Oh.
So it's not just the book is based on the novel. She is quoted with adaptation by. So is that something? Because that's not how it's posted at all on any of the others.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, let me double check this out. Like, I was about to type it out that way, but I was like, is that the same thing? They just worded it weird on this one?
Honestly, I think, yeah. It honestly might be Frances just giving her more credit than just
Maybe
being like the author. Because Frances seems like that kind of a person.
See, because, yeah, Hunger Games was based upon the novel, and the other one was adaptation by.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the difference is.
No, I think it's just fancier wording.
Okay. And audiobook reader is Tatiana Maslany. I love her name.
Yeah.
Maslany.
My mom's name, she's named after her grandma. And her grandma's name's Tatiana. But then when she got married, she lost her Russian last name and decided that she wanted to be straight American, in air quotes. And so she went with Tina. And my mom's so mad. If you talk to my mom about it, she'll be like, I don't know why they didn't just name me Tatiana.
So funny. All right. Book came out August 24th.
Wow. I did not know that. That's
Day
funny.
before your birthday.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. In 2010. And the movie came out November 21st, 2014. That's a 4-year difference.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. What'd you do?
What you read first.
What'd you read first?
I read it first.
I did too. And you know what I realized? Way back. We didn't say in the Polar Express if we read it or watched it first.
Funny. I watched it first.
I did not. I read it first.
Oh?
Yeah.
Funny. And we were flipped.
We were flipped.
That's hilarious.
Anyways, flashback, you guys.
Sorry, guys.
Okay, now that we have seen it, what are our thoughts? Or read it and read it?
Honestly, I think Suzanne was biting off more than she could chew with this storyline. Because I think she wanted to write this big epic war story, but I think she should have stuck to not something as large as it is, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or like if she was gonna do the war story, do it full out. Whereas like every time Katniss is like, I'm going in, they're like, nah, you can't. So then it pulls us back into like boring story.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I guess I could see this as almost like the movie is a 2-parter because it was very different
Styles, yeah.
Yeah, so it was
pacing
like
too.
Yeah, like part 2 is very fast, and part 1 is much slower. So
part 1 took me forever to read. Part 2 I was done with in like 2 days, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, so it's because they focus a lot on her sadness and grief and Peeta in this one, and then the next one is just war.
Yeah,
and yeah, I feel like if she took the whole book to be about the war, I feel like it could have been written better. I still enjoyed it. I know you didn't. Okay, so why'd we pick it?
Well, for the obvious reason, because it's the 3rd book in the series.
Yes, it is. Okay, Allie's super fun facts. All right, so number 1, it was dedicated to Philip Seymour Hoffman, who died a week before filming ended, which we'll talk more about in the next one. And well, I guess I'm going to talk about it right here. Since most of the scenes for the final 2 movies had already been filmed, the role was finished with the other characters taking on his lines.
At the red carpet premiere, so Philip Seymour Hoffman is like, he's a big time actor. Like he's a big one. And so when I got him to sign my book, I was so excited. And like, it was weird. We made eye contact. Right after he signed it. And I was like, I just got to thank him for his work. And so I was like, thank you so much for all of your work. Like, I actually really enjoy a lot of your movies. And he was like, thank you. That means a lot. And then like 2 weeks later, he committed suicide. And I was like,
That's so sad. I didn't realize he had committed suicide.
Yeah.
That's sad.
He He was not doing too hot.
No.
Unfortunately, I was very sad. But then I was like, hey, I'm glad I got to thank him for his work.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So number 2, this is the first entry in the film franchise to be shot digitally.
I was sad about this because this is when film started like dying.
Yeah.
And everything started going over to digital.
Sad.
Way to put in a sad one for me.
I'm so sorry. I put it in there because it was involving film. Like I was like, she might like
She'll
this
love
one.
this one. Instead, I'm like, this breaks my heart.
Jennifer Lawrence cut her hair short the summer before filming began due to damages from dyeing it. As a result, she had to wear a wig that cost $30,000.
Yeah, it's insane. But that also makes sense why her hair looks weird.
It definitely looks different.
Mm-hmm. The whole time I was like, what the heck are they doing with her hair? Now I know.
Number 4, costume designer Trish Somerville, who did the Hunger Games Catching Fire costumes, chose to work on Gone Girl instead of Mockingjay.
Yeah, girl.
I feel like that's
such
a weird
switch.
Like, think of, for costumes, so much more she could do with this than Gone Girl.
I wonder if she was a fan of the book.
I'm sure she would. Why would she choose Gone Girl over the Hunger Games if she wasn't?
Oh, yeah, honestly. Yeah. Well, plus I think, I don't know. I think people who work in costumes have fun with it all because it's not just the fun costumes. It's the like, okay, so it's set in this time. So I have to find the right shirt style for this time. And like, if he's wearing a watch, it's got to be this watch. And if he's got this phone, it's got to be this. And so like,
maybe. And if she did it once, she did Catching Fire, she probably was like, oh, what else different can I do?
Exactly. She probably was sick of the same thing, basically.
Yeah. I got to make this girl catch fire again.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Great. Or actually, no, this time they're drab in District 13.
Right. Yeah, I guess I would leave too. Boring. All right, you guys. I was actually very shocked at how few facts there were here. So I just found this interesting because I didn't know what all the districts did. So here's a list of all the districts. District 1 does luxurious items. District 2 is the defense district. District 3 is electronics. 4, fishing. 5, power and electricity. 6, transportation. 7 is lumber. 8 is textiles.
Clothing.
Okay, well, let's say clothing. 9 is grain. 10 is livestock. 11 is agriculture. And 12 is coal. Which I think I need to correct myself. I said in the Hunger Games that the farther back you went from the capital, the poorer they got.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true.
The districts are all just poor.
Yeah.
Except for 2.
2. And 2 is definitely farther than 1.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. Yeah.
So I'm correcting myself here instead of in our
recap.
Okay, last one. I did have one extra because the dog wandering around District 12 was Donald Sutherland's dog, Biggles. And I had to do it simply because Biggles is the cutest name for a dog I've ever heard.
Okay.
Can you imagine Snow's dog just wandering around District 12?
Can you imagine Snow's dog being named Biggles?
Come here, Biggles. Come here, Biggles. Oh, gosh. All right. Guys, I feel like I haven't shut up since beginning. So here we go. Let's talk some more.
Allie re-listened to Catching Fire and told me that she's very self-conscious that she talks a lot. So now like that's all she's noticing.
Okay, you can't tell me that 90% of this podcast so far has not been me not shutting up.
I was going to say not in the picture painting. And then I was like, no, because we went on the Tyler tangent.
Oh, no.
But on it, go listen to Twilight. I bet. Go listen to Carrie. I bet that's all me.
Yeah, I guess you have your own, but I feel like I'm self-conscious now.
I was going to say you're self-conscious, so you're a little bit more aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not one of the books that I'm passionate about. So
okay, fine. I'll take it. Maybe the next one or the next 2, not 2, in 2. The ballad? Maybe.
Possibly.
Okay.
Probably.
Okay. Let's go. So, book kicks off. So about a month after the end of the last book, Katniss is walking around District 12 in the ruins, and she was walking around Victor Village, and that's the only place that didn't get bombed from the previous book, as we remember. She found Buttercup, and she got things from around her house, but there was a rose left on her desk. Was it her desk or somewhere?
It was in her bedroom. But in the movie, they put it in the study's desk.
Okay. So did her and Snow talk in her bedroom?
No, they did talk in the study, but it was to freak her out even more that it was in her room.
Oh, I see. Okay. So she leaves and she goes back to Gail, who's on the hovercraft. And then we learn details about Alma Coyne, who's the president of District 13. And she has like these flashbacks of things that have been going on throughout the last month, such as Katniss overheard Coyne saying, we should have gotten the boy first, because Katniss has not been helpful for the rebellion. Finnick hasn't been helpful because he's also mourning Annie. And Beetee hasn't been super helpful because he's super weak and recovering from being electrocuted. But as soon as he was like even remotely helpful, they were like, okay. And they wheeled him off in a wheelchair to go do technical work. And then Gale goes into detail about how he got everyone out from District 12 and they ended up in 13.
The movie starts on the hovercraft. And first off, in the book, yes, Katniss does have to go through her list of things to like remind herself, like, okay, I'm not in the Hunger Games anymore. My name's Katniss Everdeen. I'm from District 12, but District 12 isn't here anymore. In the movie, she does it so like freaked out that I never pictured it that freaked out. I'm like, with how calm and collected she says it in the book, it was more like a mantra, like what everyone always says to do when you're feeling anxious. Do the like spot 5 things until you like take a minute and like, oh, there's something blue, something red. Not, my name's Katniss Everdeen, I'm from District 12.
And her like therapy doctor or whatever told her to do that, right? Mm-hmm. And at this point in the movie, she has not seen them yet.
Yeah. Nope. And then,
I mean, we never see her see them, but there's no way if it's right after the...
Yeah. Yeah. And then she's laying in a hospital bed, and guess what she has in her hand right now, guys? That she didn't get in the last movie. A pearl that also kind of looks like a bullet or like a BB gun bullet, not a pearl. Mm-hmm. Basically, she goes and talks to Coyne and Plutarch and is like, I need to go to 12. And they're like, you can't go to 12. And she's like, no, I need to go see it. And then they let her, rather than it just starting with her in 12.
So they give us details on how 13 works, right? Because now we're learning a whole new district, and they have like schedules that are printed on their arm every morning, and they have to follow these schedules, but Katniss doesn't have to, apparently, because she's, deemed a little crazy right now, and she's Katniss and she doesn't want to, but that's a whole other issue. Mm-hmm. Gale has this bracelet that's like a communication cuff because he's like one of the top dogs right now because he saved all of District 12, so he's in the loop with all the important
head honchos.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Okay, and so then they're called to a meeting where they're watching this interview with Flickerman, and Peeta's there, and all this time Katniss has been like thinking he's dead, and she sees him and he looks good and like he's not tortured, and she's like, all her worries just melt away. And Peeta's defending himself and Katniss, saying, hey, we didn't know what was happening in the games. And Flickerman asks about Haymitch. He's like, I don't know about him. So like he's like doesn't care about Haymitch. And then he calls for a ceasefire from both sides, and everybody's like, what a traitor, blah 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 blah. Which, first off, like, what? He didn't know anything. How is that traitor like?
I know. Plus, like, if you know that the Capitol has him, you know that the Capitol's doing stuff to him. So why is...
I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we also learn at this point, apparently, that Haymitch has been sobering up somewhere. He's not involved in this meeting because they don't allow alcohol in District 13. So he's off getting sober. But after the interview was over, everyone's watching for Katniss's reaction, and she just wants to get out of there. So she like kind of pushes her way through, and Gale helps her out. But that made him lose his communication cuff because he kind of knocked Boggs a little bit, who is Coyne's like
right hand man.
Yep. And so then Katniss and Gale sit and talk for a bit, and he says, Peeta's still playing the game because he wants to protect you. And she's like, oh my gosh, you're right, he is. And she's like, he also has no idea what they did to District 12. And she's like, okay, I'm going to be the Mockingjay because I'm going to get Peeta's to be safe.
In the movie, she sees Peeta's interview in the lunchroom, which I don't like because I like it being in front of everyone that's like trying to be tactical about everything. And I feel more sense.
Yeah, I feel like that is something also 13 wouldn't
be airing to everyone.
Right.
Yeah. And then Katniss goes and has a dream about Peeta because of the interview. And he's back with her.
It was a really confusing moment.
I know. I was like, this is kind of stupid. Like, why are they?
Right. Because it's like, it's not one of those. It was weird.
It was like a dream, but not a dream.
Because it's
the exact same scene from Catching Fire, but also not.
But you know how dreams in movies, they try and trick you that it's not a dream? Mm-hmm. Well, this one was so obvious a dream because we just saw him in the Capitol that it was like, that was so unneeded.
Yeah. It was very stupid. And then basically, Gale never had a communication cuff in the movie. So that didn't get taken away. And I'm pretty sure, isn't it Prim in the movie who tells her that Peeta's still playing the game and he's trying to protect her? They give Prim way more lines in the movies. And I think it's to drive home her end. Yeah. Okay. You can go.
All right. So Katniss is talking to Prim, speaking of, and she's so worried that if she becomes a Mockingjay and they win the war, they're going to kill Peeta because they're so mad at him. Prim's like, so tell them not to. Like, they have to do anything you want if they want you to be the Mockingjay. And she's like, what? You're right. And so she makes up her list of demands, and Gale agrees to go to the meetings with her because he, isn't supposed to because he got kicked out. And she asks for a pen so she can write down all her demands in front of them. And her demands are that Prim gets to keep her cat, which sparked a huge debate.
Stupid.
Gale and her get to go hunting. Gale is with her all the time throughout this, which at first they're like, okay, are you continuing to be cousins or are you new lovers? Which pissed her off. And then Peeta and the other victors get full immunity. Which Coin needs to say in front of everybody. And they were not happy about this. And Coin even said no, but she's like, okay. And then she got all pissed off. And that's when Plutarch's like, that's our Mockingjay. That's what we want. And then she's like, oh, okay. Oh, and then she also demands to kill Snow. And Coin's like, I'll flip you for it when that time comes. But it was like a cute little smirk. And Katniss was like, oh, okay. And so once she agreed to be the Mockingjay, Plutarch showed her a sketchbook, and Cinna had drawn her Mockingjay uniform. And it's like, I'm still betting on you, girl on fire. And I was like, oh, man.
Well, I remember when I read that because they don't fully let you know that he's dead in the book. So that's when I was like, fuck me. He's not coming back.
So they go to get her all prepped for her new looks and everything like that because they're going to make a bunch of propaganda videos, and they go down to get her prep team. But there is a guard there, and Katniss and Gale do their little sneak maneuver, and she scoots past them and she goes into the room where they're supposed to be. So they're naked and shackled to the wall and like completely beaten up.
So first off, when she agrees to be the Mockingjay in the book, it's to this huge like group of people. In the movie, it's just a Coin and Plutarch. And I was like, that's stupid. She also, in the book, forgot to ask for Annie's immunity when she asked for the other victor's immunity and had to be reminded of that later on by Finnick. But in the movie, she just remembered on her own. They tricked me. I thought she wasn't going to ask for safety for Buttercup. I wrote the note, and then they were like, you have any other demands? And then she looks at her piece of paper and goes, my Prim gets, my sister Prim gets to keep her cat. I was like, okay, well, at least I did that. But then huge difference, because in this book, we don't know where Effie is. We do not hear a lick about Effie until 3/4 of the way through the book. But lo and behold, in the movie, there is Effie. Effie is her prep team. there's no prep team shackled to the wall. And Effie hasn't been being mistreated. Effie's just been sad that she's in District 13 and not the capital. Mm-hmm. And then Effie is the one who gives Katniss in his book, not Plutarch. Because Plutarch was like, here you go. And then Effie gets all those lines. And then after Effie gives her this book, Katniss is like, is Cinna dead? I was like, girl, you saw him get beat. What?
So Katniss takes her prep team to her mom so her mom can heal them up. And Katniss and Gale go hunting. And while they're hunting, Gale's like, why do you care about your prep team so much? They decorated you for slaughter. And Katniss is trying to explain they don't know better. So it's like you're seeing almost the transformation that Katniss has had being in the games and understanding the Capitol versus like beginning of Hunger Games. She would have been on this.
Understand. Yeah.
She would have been on the same side Gale is. And so their difference of thoughts is a huge thing in this whole book. So they go to the meeting where Coin's going to give all the victors immunity. And this is when Bri was saying she forgot Annie because she sees Finnick and she's like, oh my gosh. And she runs President Coin. She's like, you have to add one more. Yeah, add Annie. And she does. And then, but she's like, okay, Katniss agreed to be the Mockingjay, but if she sucks and doesn't do our deal, then guess what? It's all terminated and we can kill the victors if we want. She didn't say that, but that's basically what she means.
Yeah. Whereas in the movie this happens, but instead when she goes to Finnick, she's just like, I asked for Annie's safety.
And she did not.
Yeah. Like, girl, you forgot until you saw him. But whatever.
Rude.
I know. Only care about yourself.
Seriously. She asked for like District 2 lady who tried to kill them all.
But Finnick's love, guy who's been your like homeboy for a little bit.
Exactly. All right. So Katniss is pissed off because she's under control again, but she deals with it. And then she gets all beautified by her prep team, but they're having major anxiety, right? Because they got beat because in District 13, they're very strict on you get what you're served and that's it. And, you know, coming from 13, they took freaking a potion or whatever.
You mean from the Capitol?
Thank you. Capitol, they took whatever it's called to throw up so they could eat more. And so they're trying to adjust to that. And they took one extra piece of bread or whatever it was.
Well, plus if they also were like captors too, you assume that they're not getting fed very well.
Right. And so
she was probably just hungry.
Yeah. So that's why they got beat up. So that's why they're very PTSD, anxiety and all that. Okay, so she goes to meet Beetee because he has some awesome stuff for them. He has a bow and arrow for Katniss only because it only works for her. It's like voice activated. And they go to do a propaganda video and Katniss freaking sucks. She's like, how fun would it be to be an actress have to be a bad actress? That would be kind of fun because she was really bad. And then she hears Haymitch laughing and saying, that's how a revolution dies. And this is the first time she's heard him since the attack on the plane.
So when she's getting ready, Effie gives her Mockingjay pin and it's now black and not gold, which confuses me because I'm like, it's gold because she's on fire. Like,
you're right, because it's still gold in the book, right?
Yeah, that doesn't change. And then also in the book, Finnick has a line where, because like how she looks, he's like, they'll either want to kiss you, kill you, or be you. But Effie is the one who says it in the movie.
She does her cute little. Doesn't she have like a cute little?
Yeah, capital talk.
Yeah.
And then in the book, when Haymitch talks, he's in the like recording booth and is hidden from her. In the movie, this is the first time they're reuniting since she attacked him, and he just walks on in up to her.
Yeah.
Oh, this is when I realized that in her list of demands, she never asked to be able to go hunting with Gale and never like made it a thing that Gale was a part of her team. And Beetee gives her the bow and arrow, but never makes it known that it only works for her. He just is like, oh, it's saying hello to you, but doesn't explain what that means.
I don't. What a easy one line they could put in. So Haymitch speaks to everybody about when has Katniss moved you? And they make a list, and he asks what they all have in common. And Gail's like, they were all her and no one told her what to do. And so Hamish is like, exactly. So let's go put her on the field and let her do her thing. So with a little convincing, they are able to go to District 8. It had just been bombed. So they're like, it's not on their radar anymore. It'll just be good to get her out. And so Finnick was freaking out, though, because they won't let him go. He's still in his hospital gown and everything like this. But Katniss remembered Beetee said he had some cool tech to show him. And so that got him really excited. So he went to hang out with Beetee. And on their way out, Boggs hands her a pill and said, this is in case you get captured. We named it Nightlock in your honor.
Finnick never freaks out and wants to go with her to District 8, but the rest of that happens.
Mm-hmm. So they get to District 8 and all the wounded are in this makeshift hospital. And Gail's worried. He's like, should you have all your wounded in one place? And she's like, well, what else are we going to do? The leader of 8. But everyone's excited to see Katniss, and she's there and like helps them out for a little bit. And then they're instructed to leave because an air raid is coming. So, and their whole goal is like, let the district see Katniss, but not the and not the capital see Katniss. Did I say that right? The district see her, but don't let the capital see her. So that's the whole goal, but there's an air raid coming, so they need to get out and be sneaky. And suddenly bombing is happening. And they're like, oh my gosh, they're targeting the hospital. Katniss and Gale do their fancy little hunting maneuvers, and they take down some planes. And Katniss got beat up pretty bad, and she hears Haymitch yelling at her, and her earpiece takes her earpiece out, and the video crew is following Katniss, and they said Snow just said this was a warning to the rebels. And do you have anything to say back? And Katniss gives this speech about how the Capitol targeted unarmed men, women, and children, and now we're on fire or whatever cheesy thing she said.
You burn with us.
Yes.
So, in the movie, Haymitch does not go in the hovercraft. Therefore, there is no earpiece for Katniss to have in her ear to hear him give her commands. So, there's no her ripping it out and ignoring him to go and hunt with Gale, these air raid bomber things. Then, when she's at the hospital and she's seeing all the people and they just want her to walk in, she literally stops and goes, "You can't film me here." Where in the book, that's why you're there.
I know.
She thinks it like, this is stupid. You're filming me because you want me to like be helpful, but I can't help these guys. Mm-hmm. But she does it. And she's like, whatever. But in the movie, she full on like tries to tell him not to.
I know.
I was like, you idiot. In the book, doesn't she also sing to them in the hospital? Or am I crazy? Because I think someone asked for her to sing like she did to Rue. An old lady.
Oh, so maybe she sang to a person,
yeah,
not just out loud.
Yeah, no, she was singing to one of the wounded.
Oh, okay.
Because they asked her to.
I do not remember.
They did not do that in the movie.
No.
And then, but what they do in the movie is all the wounded now do the rebel hand thing. I was like, wow.
I gotta do it once per movie.
God damn. For real. That drives me crazy. I'm like, why? This is literally just a thing that they're supposed to do in 12. That's their goodbye. Like, why is everyone doing it? Just because Katniss did it once. And then in the movie, when the hovercrafts are coming to drop the bombs, it's not a V formation. There's only 2. Mm-hmm. How convenient. So they can each take one down. But I think it would have been cooler to see them do their hunting maneuver things.
I think so.
And then in the movie, I really thought it was really stupid because twice over, I think Gale at one point when they're on the roof goes, they're heading over towards the hospital. So you think, okay, so that they're targeting the hospital. But then after they start shooting a little bit, Katniss freaks out and is like, they were targeting the hospital.
That's what I thought too. I was like, did Gale just say that? Did I miss something?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was like, that's stupid. And then basically everything else happens.
Okay. So she's in the hospital now because she got pretty beat up at the thingy.
That's the other thing that didn't happen. She didn't get pretty beat up.
Yeah. Yep. She is shown a propaganda video because she goes to a meeting and the video turned out really good. And Haymitch visits her in the hospital and says, if you ever take this earpiece out again, I will have one surgically put into your head, which this was another thing where I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. And no, I don't, because it did not happen.
Oh, you have a lot of these with these books.
I do, apparently. So Plutarch's assistant comes in. She's one of the capital, the kind of that has the image how she wants for Flavia.
Oh, Flavius. She's the like producer,
yeah, but she knows how she wants Katniss to look and all this sort of stuff. And she came up with the idea to do propos involving details on each tribute who's died, and which is never brought up again. But I'm like, that's such a good idea. Why can't I hear more about that? Would love to.
I would follow you in this story, not these guys.
Katniss and Finnick are watching the propaganda videos, and it's just them in the room for some reason. I don't remember why. They were just there early?
No, it's because they were...
Or were they in the hospital?
They were in the hospital together, and Finnick was just going and hanging out in her room so that they could have friends and talk to people.
Okay. And so after the video, an interview with Peeta comes on, and he looks pretty beat up. Like, he looks way worse than he did in the couple days ago or however long ago video that she originally saw him in. And Peeta's like, Katniss, you have to stop because you're just falling for their trap. Be your own person. Don't follow 13. And before the rest of 13 comes in, Finnick and Katniss turn off the TV and they pretend they didn't see it. And Katniss realized that the first video was probably filmed like days after the game, and this one was filmed recently because he looks way bad to be only a couple days apart.
Yeah. So, in the movie, the propos get showed to all of 13. They call everyone in to watch it together. I was like, that's stupid. Because again, why are you showing this to everyone in 13? It should just be your war council that you're showing this to. And then Katniss like goes off to her room or something. And Gale runs in and is like, come on, Coin's going to let us go hunt. I was like, that's stupid. And then they go outside and hunt, but then they don't like it because basically the deer is just chained for them to go and hunt. And she's like, wow, this kind of sucks because, like, obviously the deer knows we're here and, like, can hear us and smell us and stuff, but it's not moving. So
it wasn't chained. It was that it's never been hunted before, so it's not scared of people.
Oh, I thought I saw a little barbed chain on it.
Oh, I don't think so. Because they're like, she's like, why isn't it running? Because he's never been hunted before. Like, he's not scared. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when they go back in, this is when Katniss sees Peeta. She's not with Finnick. She's with Gale.
Which is kind of makes a big difference in the story.
It does, but it's so that because in the book, Katniss and Gale have a fight over Peeta. And that fight happens here instead of later.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
So that's because my next thing was like, Gale's getting upset at the whole Peeta thing. And then I was like, oh, because this is why he gets upset in the book.
It's just
later. Yeah. Not right now. And in this fight, this is now when Gale tells Katniss about what happened when 12 was bombed and how he got everyone out. And yeah, your turn.
All right. So Katniss is getting pissed again because no one is talking to her about this Peeta interview. They're acting like it never happened. She's like, okay, everybody had to have seen it. And finally she gets time alone with Gale. And this is, as Bri would just said, this is when they have their fight about it because she realizes Gale did see it and he's just been not bringing it up to her. And she's like, why? We're supposed to talk about stuff. Eventually they go to 12 so that her and Gale can do a little walkthrough video so that they can show Peeta because he doesn't realize what happened in 12. And they talk about life in 12, and Pollux, which is the AVAX cameraman, asked her to sing a little song because the Mockingjays came out. And she sings the Dead Man Hanging in the Tree song, which is really cool because the audiobook was read after this movie came out. So she sang the same song that they did in the movie, which was kind of fun. And I was like, hey, that sounds familiar. And then Peeta is giving... Oh, they went back to 13 and they were looking at their new propos all done. And Peeta's giving another message. And Beatty's like, well, look it. I figured out how to pop into the Capitol. And so he's starts mixing Peeta's messages with some Katniss, and it's like setting Peeta off because Peeta's also looking worse again. Like each time he's on the screen, he's looking worse and worse. Mm-hmm. And so he's starting to get set off a little bit. And finally he shouts out, 13's going to be dead by tomorrow. Camera fell over. You hear Snow yell, cut. And Peeta's blood is everywhere. And you hear screaming. It's not everywhere, but you see his blood and you hear screaming. And
I realized what I said about Gale telling Katniss about 12. He said it at 12. Like they went back out to 12 again. And this is like he then, because she isn't sure what to do for the cameras right now. She's like, I don't know what to do. So then Gale takes over and is like, the day that the bombing happened, and like talks about the bombing. Mm-hmm. In my head when I was watching that, I was like, why would they want one about you talking? You're not anyone that anyone cares about, Gale.
That's true.
Like, what? And then the hanging tree song happens. Everyone in 13 is super excited to turn it into a propo. Mm-hmm. And he's like, and I just changed the lyrics from rope to hope. When in the book, it's very key that does not get shown in the propos at all. It's super important.
Peeta also does not look more and more beat up each time. I don't know. I mean, he does, but like I expected it to be like way more so.
Well, I think because you're picturing him beat up.
Like, not like black and blue and like swollen, but like more so than, because she says he looks skinnier and he looks, he does look bruised a little bit. He just looked more and more depressed each time to me.
Oh, you can't see the CGI sickliness?
No, not really.
No, I see it, but I can also tell it's CGI and I'm like, woo.
Yeah, because they didn't want him to go on a huge diet, they said.
Yeah.
But no, I couldn't.
But I'm like, guys, go watch Breaking Dawn Part 1 and look at, I almost called her Katniss. What the fuck? Bella. Make him look like her pregnant with a vampire child.
There you go.
Yeah.
I know. What did I just say?
Oh, Peeta got beat up.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So everyone starts freaking out. And Haymitch is like, isn't it obvious what he means? There's a bomb coming. Because they're like, what does it mean? What did he mean when he said that? And so Peeta's warning them. So Coin has everybody go down to the emergency bunker. And Prim isn't there. And Katniss is like, what the heck? Where is she? And she's like, oh my gosh, she went back for that stupid cat. And Katniss is fighting her way through. And she's able to hold the door. And Gale got a bunch of stuff from their room. And they all got back into the bunker in time. And Prim and Katniss are chatting. And Prim let her know that she's going to be a doctor. And that she doesn't think Snow will kill Peeta because he's going to use him to hurt Katniss. And it's all clicking because Katniss is playing with a little flashlight. And she realizes that
Crazy cat.
the cat is following the flashlight just like
She is following Peeta.
Yep.
In the book, when they went to 12 and Katniss sang with Pollux, she also recorded a propo purposely to show Peeta that everything was burnt down. And so she went to like the bakery and stuff. That did not happen in the movie. So then I was like, well, then why are you going there again? Like, what's the point of that? Also, when Peeta says that District 13 is going to be dead by tomorrow, Coin never believes him. She's like, how can we trust him? He's a traitor. And Katniss and Haymitch have to basically be like, no, trust us on this. He wouldn't be saying that unless something was about to happen. In the movie, Coin just believes right away. And it's like, oh, he probably overheard something. He's in the Snow's office or whatever. I was like, girl, you're supposed to not believe yet. And then when Katniss is running to go check for Prim, the guards are closing the door already. And so Katniss has to like shove her foot there and stay there to get them to leave the door open so that she can get her sister and Gale in. In the movie, that's not happening. She actually like runs partway out and up the stairs to get her sister.
she falls down the stairs. Mm-hmm. She's soaking wet because it's raining or water pipe broke or something.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. And then in the book, Katniss was told specifically, I think it was by Plutarch, to remain calm because at this point in time, all of District 13's eyes were going to be on her. And so how she reacted was how they were going to react. And when Prim gets in, she like yells at Prim and is freaking out. And then she like realizes, oh shit, I just yelled at Prim in front of everyone, which is not staying calm for everyone. In the movie, she yells at Prim and there's no one around to see.
Right.
It's like, okay. Also, the schedules on the arm thing doesn't happen. And like at this point, to make sure that everyone gets in, they are all supposed to scan their arms. And then it's hilarious because Coin asks Boggs, all right, is everyone in? And Boggs says something like, I'm not sure. Like, we don't have a system for that. It's like, all the people in the book.
So they're finally able to move to new headquarters or new quarters, new living spaces. And she's hanging out with Finnick. And Finnick and her are talking about how Snow's torturing Peeta and that's who she loves. And that's why he's torturing Annie too, because that's who Finnick loves. And the next day they're told they need to go make more propos and they go out and Katniss tries, but she kind of breaks down and she's having like this panic attack because she's so worried about Peeta. And
no. She breaks down because when they go outside, not only does she see the wreckage, but Snow has also delivered
a bunch of
roses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So a mix of that and Peeta. Mm-hmm. And then she gets sedated and then Finnick gets sedated because he starts freaking out and then they wake up or she wakes up and all she wants to do is hug Haymitch. And I was like, that is so sweet. And he lets her know there's a team going to get Peeta and Gail's one of the team members.
So in the book too, when Finnick and her are talking in the bunker, Finnick is playing with a small piece of rope that he ties in knots because that's how he keeps his mind busy so that he can't just focus on Annie. In the movie, he is not playing with rope. They just sit and talk because he is supposed to teach Katniss to play with this rope. And Katniss then later on teaches someone else to play with the rope to help his mind. But because this doesn't happen, it just doesn't happen in the movie. Also, I really can't stand when movies change just like the smallest little insignificant detail. Like in the book, when Peeta tells them that they're all going to be dead, he saved them 10 minutes. And Coin was like, thanks for that. Like, because of Peeta, he saved us 10 minutes. In the movie, it was 8.
I know. It's like, why?
I was like, there's no need for that change. What?
More specific. Make it more like it would be true.
Mm-hmm. And then this huge thing that's about to happen, the rescue that's happening that Haymitch told Katniss about, we now see it in the movie.
So different. I might as well just finish the book and then you do the movie.
Yep.
Okay. Well, here I go. So Katniss wants to go, but they've already left. So he suggests making propos to distract the Capitol. And she and Finnick go out and they try and make one, but hers is super boring because it's like, this is how I met Peeta. Whereas Finnick's like, hey, did you know Snow sold my body? And guess what? He does that with other victors. And guess what? I get secrets from it. Oh, and guess what? All these fat Capitol people, here's all their secrets.
All these fat people.
I was going to say factory. So, excuse me. I didn't. Oh my gosh. All these Capitol people. He's like, I got all these secrets. And then, but I got some about Snow too. Did you know he poisoned a bunch of people so that he could become president? And did you know he drank the poison too? And that's why he wears roses, because his mouth smells like blood, because the antidote doesn't always work how it's supposed to. And all this sort of stuff. And Katniss is over there talking to Haymitch, and she's like, did he do that to you too? And he was just like, yeah, no, he tried, but that's why my mom and my sisters or whoever is dead.
Everyone.
Yeah, everyone is dead because he said no, which sucks. Mm-hmm. And after they finished, they waited for news for the rescue, and Haymitch told him, hey, they're back. Mm-hmm. And they rush to the hospital, and Gail's hurt, but it's not too bad. Annie's there, and her and Finnick just run to each other, and love shines through them. And they got Johanna back, and down the hall's Peta. Katniss goes running to him, and Peta starts to choke her, like right when she gets close to him. And she wakes up in the hospital with a neck brace around her, and people are telling her what happened. And Beetie's like, Peta's been hijacked with jacker venom. And it's like, they show him a picture of you and like hijack him. And it's like they're torturing him to make him hate you. And Katniss is just so miserable. And that's how the movie ended. Well, the book part of the first movie.
Yeah, because that's not how the movie ends.
No.
So we see the rescue first off. We go back and forth between the two sides. Finnick's, Propos, and the rescue. And so it's going like normal, like following the book. But then they've lost communication with the team on the rescue because they had communication with the team for the rescue. And now they're like, we can't hear anything. We don't know what's going on. When they're supposed to not know what's going on.
I know.
So then they're like, something about like Snow's onto us or whatever. But Katniss is like, or no, the Capitol was about to cut in on Finnick's airing because they must know what's going on since they lost communication with the team. So Katniss is like, no, if I talk to Snow, he'll want to stay. So then this thing that turns into a TV broadcast turns into like a webcam thing where she's able to talk to Snow.
I know. I was like, that makes no sense.
I know. Son, her and Snow, I literally chat with Snow. I roll. What the fuck? To end the conversation, Snow goes, I know your friends are in the center. My next note after that is, this is dumb. Like, if he knows, why is he sitting there chatting to her? What? It makes no sense.
Because they wanted him to take Peta.
Yeah.
Which is never super mentioned in the book. It's like in the next part, Gale does say, it was a little too easy to take Peta. Mm-hmm. But like this one, they're like, he even says, he's like, they just let us fly right by. Like he didn't say it was a little too easy. Because I mean, they come back all beat up.
Literally, one of my things says, Gale says, I don't get why they let us go.
Oh, yeah. Because in the book, they come back beat up, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, they came
Gale's
back
injured. Gale's totally fine in the movie. Yeah. And then, when Peta's about to strangle Katniss is going to say his name, and she's got like the pee coming out of her mouth, and that's when he strangles her. The pee coming out of her mouth. That's hilarious sounding. But in the movie, she gets to say his name quite a few times before he starts attacking her hardcore. We've finished part 1.
That's it. All right. So IMDb cast 128 people. All right. And we're going to talk about quite a couple here. I was going to say quite a few, but not really.
Yeah, no, not really.
Because we've, as we normally do, we sprinkle.
Yes.
And we sprinkled a lot already.
Yes.
But we got Woody Harrelson plays Haymitch. Oh my gosh.
I love him.
I don't think anyone else could have ever played him.
No. He's Haymitch.
Absolutely perfect.
He is Haymitch.
Yes.
To a T.
We'll do Philip Seymour Hoffman because this movie was dedicated to him. So he played Plutarch.
He is a great Plutarch.
I agree. So we have... I was going to make you read these because I talk too much. Go for it.
Fine. Keep going. Why are we changing our system that we already have in place?
I can't read names. Maybe that's why we should change the system. Natalie Dormer plays Cressida. She's the videographer, director lady. She did good. I liked her.
Which is funny because she's also in Game of Thrones.
Is she really?
Yeah.
Who is she?
She's the...
Oh, she does.
She does. She's the one who marries or tries to marry Joffrey.
You're right. I knew I recognized her face.
Yeah. Yeah. I love her.
I love her too.
I love her with the tattoos on her head too. I think she looks cool.
Yep. Then we got Eldon Henson played Pollux. He was the Avox.
I think he did good. I wish more so in the second one, because there's a whole scene that he does in sign language that's not captioned at all. And then they cut away from it too, so you can't figure out what he says.
Oh, I read it. Shoot, it was one of the fun. I didn't make it a fun fact because I was like, bring no sign language. I think it was like
something about word.
Yeah, and it didn't really make sense. That's
probably why the camera cut and just looked at her face. Because they had it to where it was then you were seeing his back. And I was like, this is stupid. He's signing. We need to see his hands right now if you're not going to put the caption up.
They didn't put the caption up for any of his signs, really, did they?
No, because he was always translated.
By Castor, by Wes Chatham.
He did good.
He did. He was a
way to be a good interpreter.
Brother. Mm-hmm. All right. So he says, so it's when Katniss is saying goodbye to him. He says, no, don't use words. Don't forget. Thank you.
No, don't use words.
Don't forget. Thank you. Like, what does that even mean?
That's dumb.
They're like, okay.
We can cut away from this. We don't need to show what he's saying.
Yep. That was our cast for this one.
Mm-hmm.
The theme of the book and the movie the same?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Do the characters stay true?
Yeah.
In this one, I think so. Which do you prefer?
I prefer the movie.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, I knew it was going to blow your mind. I realized I was watching it. I don't like it, but if you sat down and said, Bri, you can either read or watch this, I would choose to watch it.
Okay.
You thought I was going to say book.
I did. Well, you kept ragging on the movie so much.
That's funny. Yeah, I realized with how I was talking about the movie too. I was like, oh, she's never going to
suspect.
Yeah, suspect it. Don't you like my Invisalign?
Movie. So far it's been book, movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did I say I prefer the book? Or was it obvious?
I'm assuming.
The shock in my voice.
Yeah. It was obvious to me, but it's good for you to say it.
Okay. All right, you guys. Oh, and I just prefer it because I think it's more detailed and it makes more sense than the movie did. Certain areas are just like, why did they do it like that?
I mean, I guess that makes sense. I guess, yeah, I can see it. I think having read the book helps me to understand it a little bit better, but...
Oh, yeah. But I mean, if you didn't like either, get rid of it, get done with it faster, it makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. But it took me forever to read this book. I was so slow for me. I was like, oh, no. Why?
Oh, man. Okay.
All right, guys.
Anyways,
if you liked this one, rate, subscribe,
review.
I was going to add if you like any of them, not just this one.
Yes, please. Please don't just rate us on this one unless you really liked it. If you didn't like this one, just
go listen to a different one.
Want
to rate, subscribe, and review.
Don't rate us until you find one that's worth 5 stars.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Please. But also, I just want to let y'all know, look out for the polls on Spotify if you listen there, because with every comparison episode that's coming out, we're going to be asking you, which did you prefer? Did you prefer the book? Did you prefer the movie? Did you not care about either of them?
Mm-hmm. And then on minisodes, we get enough polled. Maybe we'll share it. We're like, did you know 50% of our listeners like this one
more than this?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was a bad example because 50 is half of you. So I should have done a crazier number. 78% preferred
the book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But you got to vote for us to be able to do that.
Yes. Go poll, guys. Go poll.
Do your part. Mm-hmm. We're giving you homework. You can't just listen. You have to do some homework.
It'll help us to help give you more content.
Exactly.
And then Wednesday,
we got a mini-sode. And this mini-sode, I believe, if I'm racking my brain correctly.
I don't have my planner with me.
I'm pretty sure this is the one we're going to explain this crazy season.
Oh, is it?
Because our first mini-sode was
3 trees.
3 trees. And then we
And then it was my
Gatsby. And now we're at the minisode. Yes.
Yes. So we're going to re-explain the mischief that's happening.
Yeah. And then we'll explain too, like, kind of a breakdown, maybe, like, what our episodes look like for new listeners.
Give a little background on ourselves and kind of what started this podcast.
Yeah.
That we've now been doing for 2 years.
Insane. Okay. So come take a listen to that.
And then Monday,
Mockingjay Part 2.
we got to finish it off. Obviously. Yeah. I mean, not totally because we still got ballad for you, but finish off Mockingjay.
Yes. The Katniss trilogy. And then we have
Snow's story.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
So with that, Mockingjay Part 1
went off script.
Bye.
Thanks for sticking with us.
We hope you enjoyed it.
If you did, we would greatly appreciate it if you gave us 5 beautiful stars, reviewed, and subscribed.
You can also follow us on Facebook at Offscript, on Instagram at Offscript Podcast 21, and on TikTok at Offscript_pod.
Shoutouts to Madame Ashen Creations for our adorable logo art.
And Adam Daniel for our incredible theme song.
And to Creative Cinephile Productions for producing our podcast.
See you next time.